Yeah, Enigma in the house. My man J-Span, Titan Studios. It's called From the Heart. Keeping it real is what all this song's about. Never selling your soul. Always staying true to yourself. Alright, yeah. Check it out. Money, cars, but we'll never get you far unless you gonna spit it from the heart. Yeah, money, cars, but we'll never get you far unless you gonna spit it from the start. Man, money, cars, but we'll never get you far unless you gonna spit it from the heart. Yeah, money, cars, but we'll never get you far.
And welcome back to your favorite weekly sports show. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it is ITC Sportsball, and I am your man, Jerome Span, the prettiest face on ITC. Don't you forget it, baby. And of course, we've got the regular sports ball crew in the building. Woo, almost come myself up there. We've got that hot take spitter, the man who rips like Dylon spits. He is the modern day Ali on the microphone. When he steps into your home, all your ladies is gone. He is that man.
Hey, you know it's your boy Mace here, ready to go.
And of course, we have ITC's resident troll. He's that guy that sees a fire and he says, I got this gasoline and gunpowder. What's happening? If you let him into your brain, it will drive you insane. He is that man, Daryl.
I'm already insane. I'm already not in the mood. I feel like the Sith Lord right now. No yes for me today. I lied. Yeah.
Look, man, if you already set off, I blame DoorDash for that. I hold no responsibility for that. DoorDash, get your act together, okay? Because y'all, I'm trying to hold him back from giving them the blues again. I'm trying, but at the rate it's going, we about to hear, what is it, part 4 of Daryl versus DoorDash real soon if this stuff keep up. So DoorDash, I'm asking, please get your stuff together so this man can just get his food. That's all he wants. He just wants his stuff delivered to his home. It ain't that hard. Get right. But make sure you like, subscribe, rate us, review us, hit that notification bell so you're notified when everything new gets dropped here. That's right. You find us Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. And you find us on YouTube. Make sure you like it all and subscribe. I don't want to hear no excuses. But this week, we have to get in, of course, to the things that have went down over this last week. And we've got actually quite a lot of news that has happened. And we might as well start with the last championship that was raised. And that was with the Denver Nuggets taking home a championship in 5 games over the Boston Celtics. A very, very impressive performance.
Miami Heat.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Miami Heat. I did say Boston Celtics, didn't I? You know why? Because I had the Boston Celtics mess on my brain. We'll get to that in a minute here. But, yes, against the Miami Heat. Mace, at the end of the day, I think the Nuggets ended up being the better team. What were your overall thoughts on the series?
I really needed Miami to win that game so I could be right and they'd lose in 6. But the better team won. Hands down, I think it's pretty clear. I am glad to see a team that has drafted the nucleus of their talent win. I think that's always a good sign for the league. Regardless of what you say, it still lets you know that you don't have to assemble the Justice League every year to win a title. Like, you can put a coach together with players that play well together and get it done. So I'm happy to see somebody new get their ring. I hate to see guys chase rings later on in their career, so I'm glad he got his. Jokic got him one. There's a few other guys that need to get theirs before they get a little long in the tooth. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I'm happy for him. I just needed them to win in 6, not 5. That's all.
Daryl, how you feel about how the series ended up going? You did pretty much call it at the beginning of the series. You said Miami was done. This series is going to be essentially a wash, which it basically ended up being there at 4-1. How do you feel about what went down there?
I just felt like the Nuggets just came out, had a bucket, had a mop, slipped, didn't put the cone out, slipped. That was the one mistake. Came back out, made sure they put the cone out, made sure it was a wet floor sign, make sure everybody knows that it was over. That's all it was. I told you, Jimmy Butler's done. And now all we have to do is just keep on passing him around to every team so he can think he can get a title. I think the next one should be like the Pelicans or something like that. You know what? Butler can go out there and help freaking Zion. That's what he can do. He can go help him out. Like
Jimmy go to New Orleans. It's going to end just like it did in Minnesota. He's not the right type of personality for that team. No, not with the things that have transpired on that team recently, and with the stories you was hearing before that, too, where they was already in that locker room looking at each other funny. Nah, bro, you don't need Jimmy there. Jimmy will blow that whole thing up. Then Jimmy will put you in a situation where you have to trade Zion. At this point, you ain't got to trade him. Jimmy come down there. He ain't going for Zion being out of shape. He gonna go at that man. So, nah. We need to leave that alone. But with everything that happened here, Mace, got to ask you, how does it feel about Mike Malone out here trolling your Lakers, bro? How does it feel?
What LeBron say, you might be in the light right now, but I'm always the sun. I ain't got time for that.
Word, bro. Word. You got no time for that? Yeah, you don't appreciate the clowning? You don't appreciate that?
I mean, hey, bro, you won. You on top right now, but you know what a sun at. You know what them championships at. Be cool with your one. Be cool with your one right now, and ride in the sunlight for a little bit. You feel me?
That's what I should say to LeBron for that one win and one championship win in Lakers. That's what I can say too.
I just want to say, since 2011, the Nuggets got as many championships as the Lakers. So I don't know why you're getting out over your skis there, Lakers fan.
It don't matter, bro.
It doesn't matter. You got an old ass man trying to work his team up and can't get the last shot in the basket.
Guess what? The Sun been around forever too. How about that?
Yeah, but the Sun can been consistent, not LeBron.
He
hasn't been consistent?
Nope.
Jerome, do you want to take this?
Bruh, I'm not diving into his troll time. I know this man. When he talk about that, when he say something like that, I know better. I just leave that statement where it is, and I don't get into that tomfoolery because he knows it's nonsense and he's just trying to troll. So I ain't going. But I will say this. Let's talk about the Denver Nuggets. Because I really want to keep the focus on them because they are the champions. They deserve to be talked about, right? My question to you both here is simply, do they have a realistic chance of repeating? Do you feel like this team can at least get back to the NBA Finals next season?
Yeah. Because there's too many questions with every other team in the West right now. Excuse me. You look at Golden State. Are they getting too old? Are they going to keep Draymond? LA, what is that roster going to look like next year? There's Phoenix. What is that roster going to look like? So all the teams that had a chance to compete potentially against Denver in the West, there's too many question marks about them. So I could definitely see, at minimum, Denver going back to the Western Conference Finals. At minimum, I think that's the bare minimum of what they'll do next season if their roster stays intact. Like I said, with all the questions going on with every other team in the West, I see no reason that they don't. Like I said, at minimum, Western Conference Finals.
Daryl, do you feel like this is a team that is built in a way that can get back to the NBA championship next year? Whether they win it or not, right? We can discuss that when the time comes. But do you feel like this team could really get back to the finals and have a chance at repeating after what you saw over the course of this playoffs?
I feel like there were too many circumstances of injuries to make the Nuggets actually be good as they are now. Because honestly, there was a lot of injuries for the West. Like you had the Clippers, you had the Suns, you had a lot of main players out of the loop. Like the teams were broken, they're not synergized, they're all freaking beat up. Really, like I'd say if they pull what they pulled this time and then keep their focus, yeah. But other than that, I don't it's a 50-50.
Hey, you know what it is, Mace? You know what? He's on his Darth Kermit today, right? And he's like, Steph gonna come back and get y'all. in his soul, is saying it too. It's like Steph is coming back. He ain't gonna go out 2 years in a row. He coming back for the chip. You can see it, man. I'm telling you, that Darth Kermit, he on that Darth Kermit today, bro. I'm telling you.
Yeah, over there, tell him about Steph.
But okay, all right.
Our light-skinned Messiah demands it.
Y'all are fools.
All right, but I guess I gotta answer the question, right? The Nuggets, I think, are in the perfect position. They're actually in a better position than the last few NBA champions that we've seen to actually repeat because they're still young, right? Their guys are locked up under contracts for at least next year, right? We could talk about beyond next year when next season comes, right? And what they're going to do, how they're going to shape the roster, all that. But they have guys under contract, at least for next year, like the entire roster outside of some role players like Brown and stuff. But it seems like those guys will probably end up getting brought back, right? I really think they have the chance because they play in a way that even on bad nights, they're always going to compete. They're always going to have a chance to win. And it's rare to see in the NBA now with the way a lot of teams play. A lot of that does have to do with Joker and saying when they're on bad nights, he's like, don't worry, baby. I'm going to just drop my shoulder, drop my head, and go get us a bucket real quick. Don't worry about it. Most definitely has a lot to do with that, but I don't know. There's two teams in the West to me that could have something to say about this. One is the Lakers, but they have to improve their roster. Okay, they have to get a real legitimate third option and not be depending on Austin Reeves and Schroeder's and stuff and D'Angelo Russell's to be their third options, right? They can't do that. So they have to get a third option. The only other team that I think that could compete with them, the Clippers. The Clippers, if they can be healthy, if Kawhi Leonard can somehow, if they can keep him healthy enough to get into the playoffs and Paul George can stay healthy, they have a great roster that's built there, but it's so dependent on those two guys. So unless those teams can make some roster moves, I don't see another team in the West that could actually beat the Nuggets in a 7-game series. Not because nobody has answers for Jokic. At the end of the day, you may have answers for Jamal Murray. You may get answers for Gordon. You may get answers for Michael Porter Jr. But you got zero answers for Jokic. And we've seen when he says, hey, boys, get on my back, they're going to get on his back and he's going to take them to victory. So
if I'm the Clippers, Kawhi ain't playing until the last 3 weeks of the season.
Hey, look, I'm going to give Kawhi hey, dog, what you need? A month and a half to get yourself in playoff shape? You got a month and a half worth of games to get you in playoff shape.
That's it. So I mean, look, we've seen him come back from long layoffs and look like he hasn't skipped a beat. Like obviously, there's the whole getting in shape thing you have to go through, but as far as his skill, his production level doesn't seem to drop after these injuries. So, I mean, somebody in their organization has to have said it by now. Like, why are we playing him this early in the season? Somebody got to say it. So I'll say it for y'all, Clippers.
Hey, look, Steve Ballmer, you need some real advisors? Come holler at me and Mace. We'll tell you the truth. Kawhi should be sitting until the last month and a half. You look, he can do all his reps that he want to do, get his workouts in and that stuff. But games? Nah, bro, we don't need you. We need you in the playoffs. Because if we get you in the playoffs, it's been shown Kawhi Leonard is one of the best playoff players of all time. If you look at his numbers, it's absurd how good he is, right? But you're never healthy, so we got to keep you healthy somehow, right? Like we like the facts are, my boy, you ain't got no knees. So what do we got to do to keep your knees in order? Well, we got to sit you till the last month and a half of the season, and then you can come in when the basketball's intense and quickly get yourself into playoff shape. Because I'm sorry, I can't ride with him trying to play in the regular season for a lot of games again. It's just stupid to me. It makes no sense. And look, and if you are going to play him in the regular season, Mace, if he say his knee hurt this much, like the smart, you sitting down for 2 weeks.
You need to have somebody whose only focus is to check on Kawhi Leonard's health. If he even gimps even the slightest.
What's his name? What's his name? Uncle Dennis, right? That was his Uncle Dennis. That need to be your job. That man got a little bit. Sit your down right there, because we here for the playoffs. We here for a chip.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So we'll see what ends up happening there. But there was more NBA news that broke this week, and we got to get to it. So let's start with some happy news first, in some way, right? Michael Jordan is selling the Hornets. We're not, saying, hey, MJ, you were crappy or whatever. We're not making judgments on you as an old, but he's selling the Hornets, and we root for black men to get big money for their products. And Mike is about to get big money for his product that he paid for. And so big ups to you, Mike, for getting that money. Because when you bought the team, they didn't have a star. Now they got one in LaMelo. Hey, baby, it's a better time than ever to cash out. So, hey, Mike, I ain't mad at you. Congrats on getting your money. We'll see how this plays out, right? Because it's another one of these, if I remember correctly, it's the minority owner of the Hawks is the one that's actually purchasing the Hornets from Michael. So we'll see how they run the team. I'm hoping that they'll be more like a Mark Cuban, in the sense of like, hey, we'll spend whatever money we got to go and try and win a chip, or like a Steve Ballmer. I'm tired of seeing these cheap ass owners that the NBA has had, Mace, where it's like, dog, you making all this money, you ain't spending none of it. Like, stop it.
Listen, Steve Ballmer has effectively made back all the money he spent on the Clippers plus some. I think when that was going down, I think he liquidated like $2 billion and bought the Clippers and was just like, hey, bro, here, take this cash. Just gonna turn out for me better than that $2 billion is. But I think the numbers for MJ said, I think he bought his majority ownership stake for like $280 million, somewhere around there. And I think the current the number that I've seen out there has been like $3 billion. So I mean, my man is up. Hey, you could talk about his tenure as an owner all you want to, but MJ is up.
Facts. Hey, look, hey, Mace, I'm just hoping that with everything that's happened now that he's selling the team, I'm hoping him and Chuck can get back together and get cool again, and he can stop being mad that Chuck criticized him as a GM. Because, Mike, if you're being real, if you was a great GM and president, you probably wouldn't be selling your team right now. You probably wouldn't be. You'd probably be laughing at everybody for doubting on you, because we know how petty you are. Nigga, we all seen that. We all seen The Last Dance, nigga. We know you are the pettiest nigga on the face of the planet when it comes to people doubting you. So
that's all I needed.
Hey, hopefully him and Chuck can get back together, dog. You know what I'm saying? They seem like they used to have a good time, and MJ need a nigga like Chuck in his life. A nigga that'll just tell him the truth no matter what. He need that in his life. All right, so when they at the casino and Mike like, I'm about to bet $2 more million, Chuck can be like, yo, MJ, chill out. Or when Mike's like, hey man, I want to drink this other bottle of tequila, Chuck can be like, yo, MJ, chill out.
Hey, Mike said he leaving with something.
So yeah, that should be pretty amazing. We'll end up seeing what the final number ends up being, but I'm guessing look, man, if the Clippers went for $2 billion, right? Who knows what Mike's going to get for his team that actually has branding that nationally has always worked, because for some reason their color scheme and everything, it looks dope, bro. Like it just works and everybody's always rocked it. So, and like we said, they have a superstar player already in place. So we're going to end up seeing what happens. Hopefully things get better for all of the Hornets fans. And like I said, I'm hoping Hornets fans, I am hoping for y'all to get an owner that just come out there like Steve Ballmer and be like, I'm about to spend the whole bag. I don't even care. Because sports is way more fun with the owners that are willing to spend the bag, bro. Like I'm tired of these. I ain't want to say his name. I ain't want to call him out, but I'm tired of these Cincinnati Bengal Mike Brown ass owners being the cheapest people on the face of the planet and be like, I ain't spending no money to make my team win. I'm sick of the Jerry Reinsdorfs of the world. Got all the money in the damn world. Be like, I ain't spending no money to make this team win. What? How dare you? I'm sick of all of that. I need all y'all cheap asses to get out, because sports is way more fun when these owners is trying to spend money. Because you know who the salary cap protects? It ain't the fans. It's the owners from spending too much money. Because I promise y'all something. If there was no salary cap, owners like Jerry Jones would be like, hey, dog, name your number, what it need to be, we bringing you in. And a lot of them other owners like Mike Browns, like Jerry Reinsdorfs of the world, they'd be like, no, man, I ain't trying to pay all that money. I need that money for me.
Jerry don't care. Spin it, run the check up. Let's do it.
I need more Ballmers. I need more Ballmers, more Cohen's. I think that's his name. The Mets own it, right?
Yeah.
Even though we could talk about how Cohen made his fortune. We have a conversation about that. All I'm saying is, hey, look, they said he was an owner that was good for them. All I'm saying is he's trying to spend money. It makes sports way more fun when teams is actually going to spend money instead of just be like, I ain't got it. BS, dog. BS. Your TV deal pays for like all your expenses nowadays. Everything else that you're making is basically profit. I don't want to hear that you can't pay for it. Most of y'all ain't got the New York Yankees old payroll where they was paying like almost $300 million for the team. You ain't got that. Ain't trying to get that. Hell, most of y'all get a max contract player on your team and then be like, well, maybe we should pay you a little bit under. Help the team out. Help to make a team friendly deal. Salary cap always going up. Go to hell.
The check always going up.
Always going up. But we got to keep moving to the not so happy news that happened in the NBA this week, and that is Ja Morant catching 25 games from the NBA. It's about what I call, Mace. I said a half a season. He's got a little bit over a quarter of a season, right? Do you feel like it's too little, too much, or right on the money?
I'd say it's right on the money, man. Reports are that the NBA PA, they're kind of upset about his suspension length, but I mean, this is more of like a stupid tax than anything, bro. It's like, Ja, stop being stupid, dog.
Mace, I don't believe that the NBA PA is actually upset. I believe they put out that statement because I saw the statement, but I believe the actual leadership of the PA is like, it's stupid. Man, yo, this is good. We need to stop this nonsense.
So you saying the statement was just wolf tickets?
Yes, bro. The statement was just strictly saving face and making sure that you're stepping out there and doing your job as the PA like you're supposed to do, which is you're supposed to be on the defensive side of your players in public. But we know in private, they didn't probably talk to that dude and be like, hey, dummy, you had this coming. What are you doing? You trying to ruin this for everybody?
Yeah, I mean, true. Like I said, but like the 25 games, I think that's right on the money, man. That hopefully between now and whenever he's able to get back on the court, he matures a little bit. Because I mean, another instance of a young guy being up 200 mil, not being able to handle it. Cool, you want to go to the strip club? Fine, whatever, dog. But some stuff you just you can't do, bro. Like, You can't be doing street nigga stuff when you up 200 mil like that. You can't be doing that, bro. Come on, man. The streets don't care about you like that, dog. I mean, maybe you got to play it off like that because you in Memphis and them boys be like that from time to time. But come on, man. You rich, bro. That ain't you.
Absolutely, it's not him. It doesn't make any sense. And here's what kills me. I will keep going back to it. Clearly, his homeboys ain't the problem. Like normally, like there's some type of, hey, we could blame the homeboys in this situation. No, bruh. No. This is a Ja Morant problem. So hopefully, Mace, losing them 25 games worth of game checks will get his head right and make him realize, hey, dog, I need to chill. Daryl, do you feel like the 25 games was too much, too little, or right on the money for Ja Morant?
He still gets to keep his job. That's what we're now looking at. He still gets to keep his job. He ain't exiled from the NBA. He gets to play still. Like that's his living.
That's because there's a policy in place. Like you have to get through a certain amount of strikes first before they can just outright ban you.
Okay, if he just pulled the Aaron what was that? Who's that guy that was on the Patriots again that committed a murder?
Hey, whoa! All right, no, time out. That is the most extreme example of anything. Like Aaron Hernandez was wilding, bro. Like Daryl, I suggest to you, sir, when that Florida documentary come out on Netflix, you need to watch it. Because I've read a lot about Aaron Hernandez and what was going on since he was at Florida. And let me tell you something. That nigga was wilding. He was wilding back in Florida.
Anyway, there's not enough policies to keep him away from that. So anyway, like I said, he gets to keep his job. He's going to do dumb stuff because, you know, he got to prove. He got to have an ego to prove, you know. He can't be looking like a bum or like a wuss or something like that. He has to think he's big tough. He's, you know, same old thing. He's having one of the moments. That's what he's having. He's having a moment. He got a lot of stamina right now, so the NBA got some stamina to keep on keeping him in the NBA. So we'll see how long it lasts, you know, until he gets kicked out for another Instagram Live or something else, you know. Let's call it a day.
So you don't think this is going to do anything for him? You think this is just the first step in him on his way out the league?
Yeah, it's like, hey, that guy committed a murder. Let's give him probation. And then after that, the guy makes another murder.
Okay, hold on. We gotta stop comparing stuff to murder around here, bro. You making it way too extreme. Way like, whoa, bro. He didn't even point the gun at anybody. Like he's had guns.
Yes, he did. When he pointed it at the screen, he pointed it at everybody that looked at it. So yes.
Okay, Karen, whatever you say, bro. Whatever you say, Karen, whatever. But we know that's not fact, so let's stop that. Whatever you say, though, Karen.
I felt like my life was in danger through my phone.
Oh my God, I'm done with this guy. He's so stupid. I felt like my life was. Yeah, sure you did, buddy. Sure you did.
Hey, let's take it for example. Paul Pierce. He said some things. There was no policies in place. I'm just saying.
Bruh, did you not see Paul Pierce during the finals when KG had this man on here? Hey, Paul, chill out, bruh. Chill out, bro. You gonna mess the bag up. Chill out. He kept having to tell him, hey, we live, bro. We live. Like, Paul Pierce, he is the worst example to use. He be wild. This the nigga that said, I don't know why ESPN fired me, even though all I did was go live with a bunch of strippers. Nigga, you went for the mouse. Why do you think they fired you?
Hey, I'm bringing up every extreme. Hey, Zion, where's your chances at? You can't do a redo. You can't just pull back the day.
He got his chances, bro. He got his $200 million worth of chances. What you talking about?
What kind of chances? The chances that, hey, we can send you to another state to get one of those certain surgeries done.
He still got $200 million
For now.
200 million.
For now.
His contract's guaranteed. Even if they cut him, it don't mean nothing. That's 200 million. This ain't NFL.
We ain't talking about the cut. We talking about that child support is going to be looking good.
Hey, look, we didn't already say it. You better learn from Sean Kemp and Antonio Cromartie in this mug. You better figure it out. Antonio Cromartie had to keep playing even when he knew he was done because he needed them checks.
Well,
Okay.
with Kemp, he just didn't know where to keep his dingling at. That's what he did. He just wanted to put it all around the place to have all those kids. That's all.
I mean, that sound a lot like Zion. I'm just saying, bro. It sound a lot like him.
Hey, Zion. Zion, he got rich in the wrong time, boy, because them Instagram sleuths is coming at him strong.
Yeah, it's
Well, you know what? While we're here, might as well run down some of the notable names for athletes with the most baby mamas. And since we brought up my man Sean Kemp, might as well talk about him right away. Sean Kemp got 9 different baby mamas. Yes. Here's an astounding one that I bet you guys didn't know. Did you know that Marshall Faulk has 6 kids by 4 women? Did you know that? Did you know that? Yeah, I bet you didn't know that about Marshall Faulk. Yeah. Did you also know that Oscar De La Hoya is the same? He got 6 with 4 women. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Big up.
So you telling me these guys got a pull-out game like Chuck Liddell's chin?
Yes.
Fragile. Non-existent.
But let's get to the top 3 on the list. We'll just go top 3. We got Travis Henry. Travis Henry has had 11 children with 10 different women. Boy, you didn't even make that much money, Travis Henry. How are you doing this?
Trying to make a population.
Bro, he was an average NFL player. This man got all the kids in the world. Then, of course, at number 2, we've got Antoine Cromartie. This man has 12 kids with 8 different women. He's doing pretty good for himself there. And then there is a Brazilian soccer star named Garrincha. This man was said to have, hold on, give me 1 second here. He got a lot. They don't have an exact number, but they say that man got like 20-something kids.
He was screaming out goal every single time.
Hey, man.
Hey, he said one of these kids gonna turn into Pele, bro. We got to make some shape.
he was on his camera and she made me put my 2 arms up. Touchdown! But yes, so I don't even remember how we got here, but I just know that we got here somehow. And I'm gonna wrap it up with just simply saying Zion. Oh yeah, we was talking about Ja Morant. Ja Morant, you need to get together, dog, because hey, look, South Carolina boys in the NBA, y'all need to get your stuff together because it ain't looking good the way y'all handle the business. Y'all looking like real suckers out there, okay? Look, the 2 most notable players from South Carolina, Mace, is both looking like suckers. That ain't a good look. When they both out here about to earn the DJ Khaled Award for the year and be like, congratulations, you played yourself. Get right, fellas. Get right. I'm sick of having to talk about y'all doing dumb stuff. I actually like watching both of y'all play ball. So when you come on here,
watching Zion play basketball when he don't play basketball.
Well, when he does, you know, I mean, I know it's very few and far between. You know what I mean? I get it. I'm not denying that. But when he's playing, it's fun. Like that nigga's he's a damn bowling ball. He really is. He a bowling ball going downhill all day. I love it. But got to keep it going though. Daryl, after UFC's card last week, we saw the retirement of possibly the greatest fighter of all time, bar none, Amanda Nunes. She went out and utterly dominated in her performance, or her final performance, I should say, in the UFC cage. How does it feel to know that you was wrong this whole time about Amanda? That's all I want to know. How does it feel? How does it feel?
I'm going to change what you just said to me. And I'm going to say, I'm happy that Amanda Nunes is gone from the UFC. You can retire that no ranking championship she was holding for months at a time. And you can call that fight what it was. That fight was a one-handed fight because the person was scared of her. We don't need anybody in the UFC that's supposed to be fighting at the top performance and the top performance level being in the UFC like that. So they need to kick her out as well. So at the end of the day, I'm glad Amanda Nunes is retired. I don't have to see her face again. I am very good. I'm very happy. The division can move on. No more Amanda Nunes talk. No more her comparing herself to Anderson Silva because she is nowhere close to that. I agree with Juliana. I don't care if she's getting heat for what she was saying either. But at the same time, I'm happy that Amanda Nunes is gone and call it a day. And I will never be wrong because at the end of the day, I am always right. Sorry. Thank you.
You always right. Nigga, I have proof. We have recorded proof that ain't the truth. So you can tell that all you want, but I'm going to call you BS. And here's what I'm going to call you BS. You say she has no right to be comparing herself with Anderson Silva. Yes, she does. She absolutely has the right, and she probably has a better argument than Anderson Silva. And you know that is my favorite fighter of all time, period, because that's the dude who, watching him, really, really made me see that the sport could be something different. He made me love the sport because of the Spider. But I'm going to tell you something. If we're talking about overall greatness, you cannot sit here and doubt and hate on Amanda Nunes when she dominated 2 divisions, got it so much to the point in 2 divisions that chicks was scared to fight her.
What 2 divisions? What are you talking about?
Bro, she's a 2-division champion. What you mean?
A division? Oh wait, the division that didn't have people in it, that just had bantamweights.
You mean the division that Valentina was fighting at until she ran into Nunes and was like, I don't know if I want to do this. I love Valentina, but come on, bro, don't act like Amanda didn't fight quality people. This is what I hate when you try and do this. You try to act like people are not quality, but yet on the same hand, you'll turn around and tell me how great Valentina is.
She's in a division that has people in it. Name 5 people.
She got sent to that division. She got sent to the division because she got lumped in by Amanda Nunes.
Name 5 people in the featherweight division, women's featherweight division.
Name 5 people in the featherweight division. Hey, Daryl, you name me 5 people in the featherweight division.
Because there is none. There's nobody.
You name me 5, Daryl.
There's none.
You name me 5. Go ahead. Give me 5 because your argument's crap. Your argument is nonsense.
There's none. You can go on the UFC website. There's nobody in that division. There's nobody. She's holding a belt for nobody. There's nobody in that division. She was holding a belt for nobody in it. And you're saying she's great for holding 2 divisions. Where? Where is the people in that division? Nowhere. That division was created for Chris Cyborg. Chris Cyborg lost the belt. And what did they do with Amanda Nunes when she got the belt? Nobody. Everybody that was a bantamweight had to move up and weight just to get for that title. There's nobody in that division because there was no division in the first place.
So it's Amanda's fault that them other chicks couldn't get to
no.
the top.
No.
It's Amanda's fault.
Go back to your argument.
That none of them were as great. It's Amanda's fault that she beat up every person that was brought before her, and the other chicks couldn't put it together enough to be this type of dominant that you want from them so they could go and face Amanda again. So it's her fault.
Go back to your thing and tell me that there was people in the division. Absolutely not.
I'm asking you a question. It's her fault then, right? It's her fault.
Who said it was her fault? I said there was nobody in that division. She held a belt for nobody.
You can only fight who's in the division. It is not. You cannot then criticize her and say that it's she doesn't get qualifications as a champion and get respect as a champion because these other girls weren't as quality. You could do that do you know how many UFC champions you could go back in history and do that with? I didn't hear you try and do that at all when you brought up Anderson Silva's name. I didn't hear you try and bring him up at all and say, "Oh man, he fought some fucking janitors out here, bro." I didn't hear you say that at all.
He had a division. There was people.
Word. You want to go back over some of those fighters that he fought and talk about how trash some of them niggas were?
They can be trash all they want, but they were in the division.
Oh, so it's okay when they were trash in Anderson's division, but if they trash when Amanda's fighting, it's a problem.
Changing the flag. Stop changing it.
I got it. I understand now.
Stop
I understand now.
Stop. Get out your feelings. You have to get out your feelings. I'm telling you, there's nobody in that division. You just don't want to hear facts. You don't want to hear facts.
Listen, bro. Anderson Silva was my favorite fighter, but Rich Franklin was.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, come on, man. Like,
who cares about quality? I can say that about Misha Tate. I can say that about all the fighters.
No, my point to you is, Daryl, is you don't use it to criticize. You don't ever use that argument to criticize the fighters you like. You only use it to try and criticize the people that you don't like, which is bull. I'm calling out your bull. You've tried to use this argument with John Jones before. It's the same argument he tried to use with John Jones. Same one. And I use the exact same argument.
The only reason I didn't like John Jones is a different reason, but the reason he still had a division. He still fought in a division that had people in it. You're still not saying anything about Amanda Nunes featherweight division that had nobody in it. You're still changing it. You're still changing it.
So old man Mauricio Shogun Rua was somebody, huh? And I love Shogun, but that was somebody real deep in the division, huh? Lyoto Machida, right? Lyoto Machida, because his karate style is so effective in today's game, right?
They were still in a division.
What are you talking about, bro? I can poke holes in so many of these guys. This is my issue with you, is that you don't do it for the niggas that you like. Hold a consistent standard, and I'd be all for you saying this, but you do not hold a consistent standard for the dudes that you like.
This is you, and this is the moon. You just want to keep on going to the moon and just keep on saying the same thing, but you don't want to say, well, who's the number one ranking in featherweight? Who's the number 2 ranking in featherweight? Who's the number 3 ranking in featherweight?
I can tell you three women's fighters at the featherweight division that I think are good fighters, but I don't think that they're great.
Hey, I guess every other organization that has a featherweight division actually has some people on their roster other than the UFC.
When you think about it, when you're looking at, every division maybe have 2 to 3 people outside of the champion that are really good. You know what I'm saying? These divisions aren't just full of killers. No. Please understand my argument. There is nobody in the featherweight women's division in the UFC and never has been. Are you saying there's nobody
Josine Nunes, Chelsea Chandler, Norma Dumont. There are 3 quality fighters right there in the division. But you said, no, they're not any good.
I'm not saying they're quality fighters. There's nobody on the roster in the rankings that were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the featherweight women's division. And you can't even look.
2 and Joseline is 5. What the hell are you talking about?
Again,
UFC. What are you talking about?
So are you saying that there was no quality fighters in that division? Are you saying that there was just nobody that you thought could compete with Amanda? So it was kind of a moot point for them to have that division?
Please understand.
No, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just trying to get it straight for the people.
I'm getting it straight. I'm literally getting it straight because nobody want to freaking literally say, hey, there's someone in the division. Please. Where is that? Women's featherweight division, Mace. Who do you see underneath? Who do you see underneath? You see anybody? Please, do you see anybody?
Can we?
Bro, what does that mean that the UFC doesn't have their website filled out? What the hell does that mean?
It's never been filled out.
Absolutely nothing. Because there's rankings all around the damn world. There's ShareDog, there's MMA sites, there's all this other stuff. But you just say, oh, well, because the UFC doesn't have anybody on there, nobody's good. Get the fuck out of my face, bro. This is why I say your argument's crap. Your argument is garbage, bro. It's garbage.
No. See, this is the thing. This is why you get so over animated with this. There's nobody in that division. There's people in the bantamweight division, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is there anybody in the women's featherweight division? Yes or no? Yes or no? Do you see anything, Mace? Yes or no? That's all I need.
So Mace, there's no rankings because the UFC didn't put it on their website.
It
That's
been
his
like
logic.
that. It
That's
been
his
like
logic.
that.
There's no rankings because the UFC doesn't have it on their website. Sorry.
It been like that since the belt been there. It been there the whole time.
So just because the UFC doesn't say it, Mace, there's no rankings out there. Nobody's rankings mean nothing because the UFC didn't put it on their website. So it means nothing.
No, absolutely.
That's what you're saying. Nigga, that's exactly what you're saying.
I disagreed that it is nothing. Why are you still see? This is the thing. This is why you love Amanda Nunes so bad. You want to defend her.
No,
to the
nigga, this has nothing to do with
Yes,
Amanda
it
Nunes.
is. Yes,
this has
it is.
everything to do with
100%.
your quality of your argument. Your argument is such BS, and I'm calling you on it.
You're not calling me no BS. There's no BS
it's
because
straight BS, bro. Because your standard doesn't apply to everybody. Your standard only applies to who you want it to. You have no clear, consistent standard, and it's BS.
Do we have to go to Bellator ranking of a featherweight division? I guarantee you she got a featherweight ranking in the featherweight division. I bet there's people.
Hey, Daryl, when was the last time you watched the Bellator card in its whole?
Yesterday. Bam.
Who? What card did you watch in its whole? What card did you watch?
Bellator was on yesterday. You didn't watch it? Sorry. Sorry that your point was like, oh, gone. I'm sorry. 100%. Bellator comes on. Sorry. There was actually an actual Bellator card.
And who fought?
Pettis' brother versus what's his name? I don't know.
This nigga don't even know who fought. And he's
but
I
I actually knew there. I actually knew there was an actual card. But what you're trying to prove and what you're mad about and you're so passionate about is the fact that you can't defend a division that has nobody in it.
Bro.
It's all good.
Oh, man.
I just say Amanda Nunes is crap. So you can disagree. Agree to disagree.
Holy snikes. This guy doesn't even know. He doesn't even know what he watched. Man, that was probably on in the background while he was grinding Diablo. He like, I watched the card. And like, get out of my face. You ain't watched that damn whack card. You can't even tell me probably the highlights of any of them fights because you know who the most known name on that entire card was? Yoel Romero, and you can't stand his guts. So get out of my face, bro.
First off, please stop making opinions for me. Please stop.
Dude, you've criticized Yoel for being a steroid guy. I don't know how many times. You cannot fucking stand him.
Can you please stop making assumptions about fighters that you
literally criticized Yoel to me for being a steroid guy. You literally did this.
When?
Sorry that you don't have memory of your conversations because you just be saying so much bullshit you can't remember what you be saying. But I remember because I brought Yoel up to you when we were talking about John Jones before, and you started talking shit about him then. So please stop it.
It's the same way how you keep on saying Conor McGregor's my man. Same.
That is your man's.
Yes. Stop.
I want to turn the dial here a little bit and go to the report that the UFC women's bantamweight division may get dissolved. Do you think that's the right move to move all the 135ers up to 145 to the UFC, or are you going to let them go either 145 or 125 depending on their preference? Like, do you think that's the right move for the UFC, or do you think the move would be to just dissolve the 145 division?
No, Dana already said he was dissolving the 145. He wasn't this.
So he's dissolving 145.
No, he wasn't dissolving the 135. He's dissolving the belt for 145 because there's nobody even in that division. Like, clearly, as everybody else says, other than this man right here. But who's
everybody else? Because all I hear is Dana White. All I hear is Dana White fucking quotes out of your mouth all the time. I hear you consistently tell me what Dana thinks. But then when I bring up all these other places that do MMA talk, that do MMA rankings, you're like, those don't matter. It just matters what Dana says. So like, what are we talking about?
Aren't they opinion based? Even
Stop
like
it,
even
MMA judges. UFC opinion based. What are we talking about?
Is it MMA judges like opinion based? So like who wins and judges and stuff? Isn't that also a opinion based thing? Also, see, you already like blown out already. So it's like it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
So is it the
Nigga,
right
all I want you to
move?
do is have some fucking consistency with your arguments. I'll take my $5. Have some motherfucking consistency with your arguments. That's all I'm saying. Some type of consistency. Draw some line of consistency somewhere, bro.
I've been
Stop
saying
just
the whole
criticizing
time.
people because you don't like them. I don't criticize Conor McGregor. I don't talk shit about his resume because I don't like him.
Yes,
I talk
you do.
shit about his. I talk shit
Yes,
about
you
his
do.
resume because he's never defended a title he has won.
You just
never,
said-
not one time in his career, even before the UFC, not one time ever has that man ever defended any title he won. So I have no respect for that. You are a paper champion.
Okay, you dislike Conor McGregor. Okay, big whoop. But you just said you don't have anything to criticize his resume, but you just criticize his resume.
Bruh, time out. Listen to the words that I said to you, bruh.
I just heard it.
Because you clearly didn't understand what I was saying to you, my nigga, which is I don't criticize his resume for bullshit. The one critique I have on him is, hey, he's never defended a title that he's won. That is a fact. I'm not making conjecture about it. I'm not giving an opinion on it. That is a solid fact. That man never defended one title that he won. So to me, that is a paper champion all day. And to you, that's a paper champion because we've had the conversation about what a paper champion is, and you agreed with me when you said if you don't defend it, you're a paper champ. But when it came to him, you didn't want to put that title on him. So I'm just saying, give me some consistency, baby.
Anyways, so is it the right move to dissolve the division, or do you think the UFC should let some of those 135ers move up or kind of spread the love through those divisions? Because 135 can't be all of those women's favored weight to fight at. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we have to assume that some of the women are better fighters at 145, at 135.
The smaller fighters, this is gonna kind of be bad for them because they're gonna have a lot of women that are coming down that are gonna be bigger and that have a superior reach advantage, and it's gonna cause them some problems. Like at the end of the day, I think a lot of women like what's her name? The little small Brazilian chick. Oh goodness, how did I just lose her name? The one with the short haircut, Daryl. You know who I'm talking about. She had fought. She's fought Valentina, and I think she's fought Amanda. What's her name? I cannot think of her name. Andrade. There we go. Andrade. People like Andrade is going to be a problem because you've got people that are like, you already had issues fighting taller fighters as it was. Now you're getting people that are going to be even taller coming down to this weight division that I think is going to cause quite a few of those shorter women a problem. Some of those bigger chicks that are coming down, though, some of them are not going to be able to make it. We've talked about this over and over, right? Weight cuts are some real, that can have very negative effects on you, especially if you don't do things correctly, you don't do it in a proper way. So I think it'll probably give us one quality, probably 1 through 10 division, right? But is it for the best for everyone? It's hard to say, right? It's like basically saying, hey, well, you know, what if when Mighty Mouse was there, right? They got rid of his division and made him move up. Is that going to be good for Mighty Mouse? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how that shakes out because part of his greatness is being able to fight against people his size and that aren't that much bigger. And when you go up a weight class, people can get much bigger very, very quick.
I mean, like I said, I think it's one of those deals where the UFC needs to do a better job of filling out the rosters in the division instead of letting the women go up and down. And because, like you said, a fighter like Andrade, who's already too small for 135, but her body type probably just doesn't allow her to go down to 125 or 115. So you're gonna saturate the division and push a lot of people out, which I guess you kind of want that type of competition. But at the same time, this is on Dana to get some 145 talent into the division. Because I mean, there's from
Only-
the inception of that title, there's only been 27 featherweight women's fights in the entire and since the women's featherweight division has been a thing in the UFC. So this is solely on Dana just not filling out that division, not thinking that it was a good thing to fill out the division. I don't blame a single fighter. You can't blame Amanda. You can't blame Cyborg. You can't blame other women for not wanting to move up. You can't blame other women for not wanting to move down from maybe another promotion or whatever the case may be. But at the same, it's
you can't blame none of the women for that decision. No, because most of those women that have are featherweights, they have to come from Invicta anyway. So most of those women featherweights have to come from a different organization to even fill up that even division in the first place.
So like I said, that would be on Dana for not putting stock in that division. Like you can't. This isn't Amanda has nobody to fight. This is a Dana didn't support his division properly.
So you mean the guy who called women's MMA a sideshow and a carnival show did do his job right in supporting a women's MMA division? Who would have thought? You mean that same guy who was like, there'll never be women's MMA in the UFC, and then a year later, Ronda Rousey was fighting there? You mean that same guy?
So you're admitting there's no people in the featherweight division, right?
No, there was people there, but I agree with Mason's point. Dog, since that division has been in place, there's been 27 fights at the division. Who makes the matches?
That's not a fault to Amanda. That's not a fault to Cyborg or any other woman that may want to fight at 145.
Because when Cyborg was in the UFC, she'd been fighting for 145 the whole time. They were forcing her to fight at 135. They should have had that division when she was actually there.
So, like I said, it's no fault. It's no fault. It's no fault to Amanda that they didn't fill the division out.
No one's blaming Amanda. I've been not blaming Amanda for that division. I said there was nobody in that division. She was holding a belt for nobody in the division. That's what I was saying.
But again, I disagree. The UFC just didn't make matches for them because we see every other weight class getting all types of fights. You had, dude, most UFC pay-per-views right now, guys, like we can all openly admit this, from like 3 o'clock till 11 o'clock, there's MMA fights on for UFC. You telling me in all those cards that you have cards every weekend and you can only fit in 27 of them? You've had the division in there for multiple years. There's 52 weeks in a year. You can only fit in 27? Come on, bro. You ain't doing your job.
I tell you this, though, because I think you watch mostly all the pay-per-views or mostly all the fight nights I was watching. The only flyweight women's fights were mostly on the fight nights. And then they weren't going nowhere. Like, we lost good fighters. We lost Megan Anderson. She was literally a flyweight, cutting down to 135. Am I correct?
I mean, featherweight?
No. She was a featherweight. She's a natural featherweight.
Yeah, 145.
And then had to cut down to 135.
There
was what was the other girl?
Whose fault is that?
This is all Dana's fault. I'm not blaming Amanda. I'm not blaming Amanda.
Wait, so let me circle back around. Let me circle back around to my point that I was making to you. This is why I say that your argument is BS. Because when we started to peel back the onion, right? We started peeling. Hold on. Hear me out. And I would gladly cede the mic to you. We started peeling back the onion, and it came to the reality is that the quality of a division and how many fighters are in there is up to the matchmaker and the business owner that's running the business. That business owner has failed at his job. And instead of trying to give someone credit for fighting the fights that they had presented in front of them, you're like, well, she's not that great. She's not in Anderson Silva territory because she didn't have all these people to fight in that division. Well, what about the other division that she fucking dominated? This is what I'm saying, bro. This is all why I'm asking you. Have some consistency in that. Because if you're going to use that argument, I'm cool with it. I'm with you. I'm not sitting here trying to blow smoke up to you, Daryl, and tell you that was the deepest division in MMA or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there's something that wasn't doing their job, and it wasn't the women's fighters, because I watched plenty of them fight and they were entertaining.
I'm just saying there was nobody in that division. And you know what? I'm going to say this is also an unfair advantage too with Amanda Nunes too. Amanda Nunes has been a double champ for a long time, a long while. Can we all agree? Yes.
Yeah.
We had how many double champs? We had Daniel Cormier. He couldn't defend both titles. For what reason? That the UFC didn't want to do, but they allow Amanda Nunes to keep on doing it. It had a bunch of people that were double champs and could not defend 2 titles. I just say there was like some type of wrong in that. Like I
agree with you 100%. That was wrong. I don't dispute that. It is wrong that like the selectivity that they have chosen to allow certain people to do certain things, 100% wrong. I agree with you, because that's part of the issue that happened with the Conor McGregor stuff, right? Which was that they were giving Conor McGregor leeway to do things that other guys had asked for previously, and they were like, nah, bro, you can't do it. Like George St. Pierre, perfect example, right? One of the reasons he retired is because at that time when he retired at first, he was trying to get a fight with Anderson Silva, and the UFC kept telling him, no, can't do it. And then next thing you know, as he's retired, Conor McGregor's getting a super fight.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I agree with you. That is a big problem, dude. I do not argue with you on that at all. I'm 100% agreeing with you. That was nonsense by the UFC on that.
And like even when Alex Volkanovski was going to like try to get the title for lightweight, he said, I want to be active. I want to be an active champion. I will be active. If I got the belt, I'll fight in both divisions. He wasn't going to hold anything up. He wasn't going to do any of that stuff. It's just the fact that there's a pick and choose argument. I will say this. Amanda Nunes did a lot in her career. Yes. But at the same time, I just don't like Amanda Nunes.
Like I said, you also have to consider, like, why would you go up in weight to fight a champion when your natural weight isn't that? Like, I get it. It's a chance at a championship, but
it's the lottery.
You're giving yourself a lesser chance by saying she's obviously the bigger fighter than I am. I don't have any problem getting down to 135. It's what I've been doing my entire career. I'm going to go up in weight and fight somebody who's naturally better at that weight. I totally get it that a lot of women aren't just chomping at the bits to go up to 145 to fight Amanda at 145. It's like, nah, my better chance is at 135. Let me get through this division and try to get my chance there.
The only person that can break that rule is Daniel Cormier with the double champ, because he was already a natural heavyweight and he was undefeated. And the only reason he went down because Kane was his friend and he wasn't going to take the title from him at that time. That's the only rule. That's why he can go up and weigh when he went to Stipe. That's the only thing. That's the only rule. That's the only person that can break that rule.
I'm gonna just say, Cormier, you did that for nothing, because Kane turned around and got washed.
He slipped and hurt his leg with Francis. Leave him alone.
He slipped because that punch hit him in the face and his leg.
Listen, Daniel had some foresight. He knew what was coming. That man had the power of foresight on his side. He knew what was coming.
Hey, Daniel was the smartest one. He was the only one to have that belt and say, hey, Stipe, we had that trilogy. You got it. You got Francis.
I said, he had the foresight to get out of there while the getting was still good.
Had that man Kane over there looking like Shaq in the damn Suave commercials.
Nah, he looked like Sid Vicious when he jumped off the top rope.
Oh, no, not the Sid Vicious, bro. Not the Sid Vicious. That's too much, bro.
So while we on Francis real quick,
did you see it?
there was an interaction between Francis and John Jones.
Yeah.
Do you think we are gonna get that fight?
No. You know why? Because Francis over there saying, I got big money over here, and Jones, you can come over here. But you heard what Jones said. You don't want that smoke.
But I mean, honestly though, if the money was right in Dana's mind, you don't think he would let you still not
absolutely not, Mace. It does though. Look, you could be saying to Dana, y'all can have a 70-30 split, and he still wouldn't take the deal because he is one of the most petty people on the face of the planet. He is like super, super petty. I mean, and with Francis, I think he feels burned because in some weird way in his mind, Dana White had convinced himself that Francis owed him loyalty when he didn't. Francis owed him the fights that were on his contract, and that's it. And then owed him at least a chance to negotiate with him before he made another choice, which Francis clearly gave him. So for me, it's just one of those things that I turn around and I look at it and I say, it'll never happen because Dana's bad feelings with Francis. He will cut off his nose despite his face. The only way this happens, Mace, is if the people that are running the company that now owns them in WWE, if they're like, hey, dummy, you got to get out the way. We see this as a great opportunity for us to make money, get our brand out there, make our brand bigger. You got to get out the way. That's the only way it happens in my mind.
I mean, do you think we will ever get to a point of inter-promotional fights? Just be like, hey, neutral site, neutral everything, be splitting it. Let's make some shake.
You're about to get it. Deontay Wilder versus Francis.
Okay, but that's one of those deals where he's allowed to go into the boxing realm. I'm talking about like, can we get a UFC fighter and a ex-promotion fighter to go on to neutrally?
I think any of the organizations outside of the UFC would be for it. I think the UFC would be against it. No matter what.
That's a fair assessment because, like I said, we've seen Dana's ego get in the way multiple times, all the time. So yeah, that's a fair assessment that Dana wouldn't allow it just because he thinks that his don't stink.
Like, Daryl, do you think I'm off base with that? Because like you've seen how he operates just like I do. Do you think he would allow that?
No, it takes a heavy amount. Well, let's say this. It takes for MMA to MMA, it has to be a strong benefit. But he will do anything that literally goes for a certain boxer at a certain level of popularity. That's the only way that's going to happen. Like, for example, he will only let that Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury is literally the face of the heavyweight division. He is definitely a lot of eyes. He's a multi-national star. He goes everywhere. Tyson Fury has been through wrestling, both wrestling. He's like face of everything. Like, you have to be on that level. That's the problem. It's the level of that popularity. If Francis was at that same type of level, it would possibly work. But I will say this, and you're going to battle me on this. Francis did fumble the bag when it came to that type of popularity by not facing Jones.
So let's just hypothetical. If Francis were to go into this boxing fight and knock out Wilder, let's just hypothetical here.
Okay.
Knocks out Wilder. Do you then think Dana's be like, okay, I can make a super fight out of Jones and Francis?
No, it still wouldn't happen because of Dana. Just because of Dana's freaking attitude about it. No, absolutely not.
I mean, but that would then put Francis in that stratosphere now of
like this.
This
is the worst possibility, Mace. What Deontay Wilder wants to do a boxing match and an MMA fight. Francis goes to Wilder. Let's say Wilder wins, obviously, because Francis don't have any boxing experience, right? But if Wilder went to MMA and he also won against Francis, what does that really do for Francis?
I mean, what does a boxing match really do for Francis other than allowing him to expand his fighting horizon?
Because we only know Francis as a knockout artist, because that's all he was in UFC. He was just knocking people down, pretty much. His last fight in the UFC was like a 5-round sloppy grappling match because he had an injured knee. But at the same time, with that same opponent, John Jones scarfed him like he was nothing. So it just only reflects on if someone, so everybody only goes on recency bias. Am I correct? Everybody goes on recency bias with a fighter. So for example, if let's say, for example, let's take one of John Jones' fights. Take Gustafsson, right? The first fight with Jones, that was a war. That was a great match. That was a Hall of Fame fight for Jones, right? Daniel Cormier went for Gustafsson. What happened with that fight, right? It was like a little bit quicker, right? No, take that back. Take that back. Anthony Johnson took him out in his hometown, like the snap of a finger, just like instantly knocked him out. Are we going to question Jones saying that he was bad because he took longer to beat Gustafsson? Or are we going to just say, like, no, there's different levels to it? That's what I'm saying. It's like a recency bias of all times. Like everything.
John Jones was on cocaine when he was fighting Gustafsson. Nigga, like, what? That's why he was out partying all week before the fight. He openly admits it. He literally was partying the night before the fight doing coke.
But we're not going to doubt him saying he's bad because he took long rounds against him, though. That's what I'm saying to you. Like, we're going off Francis now on recency bias. We're not going on.
But we know what Francis is as a fighter, though, when healthy. Like we understand what he can do if he touches you. It's happened to multiple people.
Yeah,
it's happened to a multiple top flight fighters. Like we understand what can happen when a right or a left touches you.
Yeah, but we
understand this.
We get that because we're the MMA fans. We've been watching Francis fight. But how can you promote Francis to a casual group? That's the thing.
Easy.
Everybody loves
him knocking people out.
Everybody loves.
Wait, you can't because
you showed a clip of him punching the jackass dude in the balls, and you were like,
They can't.
You see how he reacted, right?
They can't use any of his knockouts because of the property UFC. And, the UFC ain't going to release any of his clips. That's the problem.
Yes, they will for the right price. Yes, they will.
You say for the right price?
They still have him on their YouTube channel, bro. Yes, they will. For the right price, yes, they will.
Oh, okay.
At the end of the day, those are just highlights. That's not a new fight, right? You've already made your money off of those clips anyway. So they'd allow it. I just personally think that Dana White's pettiness would never allow it. He's really, really mad at Francis. And he's especially mad at Francis because Francis keep going and talking to Ariel Helwani, who we all know he hates Ariel's guts with a passion, bro. So I just don't see it. I will say this, though, to kind of answer your question, Mace. In my opinion, I think the best possible circumstances that can come out of this is we get Wilder and Francis, and we get Fury and Jones. That's what I think this all ends up shaking out to. And it's strictly going to come down to a lot of Dana White stuff, but I don't think Dana wants to. I don't think he wants to be involved with making Francis more money because, like I said, he's real soured at him. He's pissed off about everything. He thinks he should have been loyal, all that stuff, right? So he's going to find a way to get him another boxing MMA fight, right? And Tyson Fury has already came out and said he's in talks with everybody here. He's in talks with Wilder. He's in talks with Ngannou. He's in talks with the UFC to fight John Jones. So we're probably going to get some super fights for sure because now the UFC has competition. Now another organization has somebody that these top-level heavyweights actually want to fight. before most organizations, and I think Daryl, you'd admit this to me too, right? Most of these organizations before Francis left and went where he is now, they didn't have any star cachet to draw a top name heavyweight boxer in to say, hey, come fight one of our guys. Now you at least got that.
We living in the Jake Paul effect, people. That's what we living in.
Is it really the Jake Paul effect when, like, we literally had celebrity boxing shows when we were younger? Is it really?
Jake Paul effect up here.
All I know is that Celebrity Deathmatch was around way before Jake Paul was. So let's get it on. That's all I'm going.
That show got canceled too many times on TV.
It still doesn't take away its greatness. If Celebrity Deathmatch made its way on to Hulu or Netflix, I'm there.
It's like saying right now, can we have a Austin Powers in 2023? Austin Powers movie in 2023.
So I watched those movies about, I think it was about 2-3 years ago. I rewatched them. And I was like, ooh, there is some problematic things in these movies, bro. Ooh, man, like problematic. Could they be made? Yes, but they would have to be changed. Like,
drastically. Because there's too much Me Too and a lot of cultures and everything else going around in that. Can't do that. Not nowadays. Nope. It's too spicy, I will say.
Look, there's a reason Mike Myers doesn't really make movies anymore, okay? He knows if I start making movies like I used to, they're going to come for me.
Well, he does make movies. He makes Shrek movies. Prepare for that new Shrek.
And on that note, Mace, tell the people where to find you.
Well, you know, man, Twitter, funky_stuff09, Twitch, twitch.tv/swaggymace. Hit me up.
Mr. Low, tell the people where to find you.
YouTube and Twitch. Low Elo Janitor. Yeah.
Jeez, we got 2 already, Mace. 2 for the show now. At J Spaderman everywhere, you either see my pretty face or the ITC logo. Make sure you like, subscribe, rate, review us. If you rate us 4 stars and don't do it 5 stars, I'm forever inclined to believe that you are a hater. So make sure you handle that. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share us. Hit that notification bell so you're notified every time that we drop new content. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was another resounding episode of your favorite weekly sports show, and that is ITC
Sportsball.
Third time's the charm. Yeah.